Hey friends, we are back and we are going to make some baking mixes today. We need to make life easier and faster, so we're going to get this prepared and take everything out once, get it all put away, and then whenever we want to have these baked goods, it's really easy and really fast. Let's see what we get done. All right, so the first thing we're going to work on making is all-star muffin mix. And I'm actually pulling it out of my meal planning book that I recently got from BJ's. It's really cool. I really like it. But the all-star muffin mix has variety. You can make blueberry muffins, rhubarb orange, banana muffins, cranberry pecan, apricot cherry, cappuccino, carrot raisin, and apple cheese muffins. So one recipe makes 4 batches. So we are gonna put it in a bowl and then we will separate to 4 different containers so that when we go to use it, it's just dump the container, add the liquids. There we go. I am actually getting really low on nutmeg, so hopefully that's not in a lot of my ingredients because then I might have to get some more. If you watched my pantry video yesterday, I reorganized a bunch of my containers, but I still had flour left over in another glass jar that I wanted to use up. This one, it's so heavy. Let's use this one instead. Get that one used up first. Okay, so we need 8 cups of flour. 1, 2, 3, 8. We need 3 cups of sugar. Three tablespoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and 2 teaspoons of ground nutmeg. Okay, we're going to mix this up really well. Okay, so now that this is all mixed up, we're going to add it into our jars, and it makes 4. Let's try this one first because it's almost 3 cups. So we need 2 cups and 3/4 a cup. So 2 3/4 a cup of mix. Oh, that's great. What we would do when we're going to use this is dump this whole thing into a bowl with 1 large egg, 1 cup of milk, and 1/2 cup of butter. Then we would bake at 400 degrees for 18 to 20 minutes. You can see my little label. I got these from the dollar store. Came with a huge pack of them. All-star muffin mix, ingredients, what we bake it at, all set to go. I am going to write up the rest of these and then we'll get them in the jars. Let's get the rest of them. Okay, 2 3/4. That looks better. And these would make really great gifts. And then you could add more details like the different variations that you could make. You could put it on the whole back part. That would be really cool. Okay, so this is our 4th jar. That is set. On to our next recipe. Now there's a couple other recipes I really like that were not an option with the All-Star, and the recipes didn't really match up well. So I still want to make these. It'll be very convenient for me. One is chocolate chip muffins. My kids love chocolate chip muffins, and I want to make sure that I get them for them. We're going to need 3/4 a cup of sugar, 1 2/3 a cup of flour. All right, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And I'm gonna have to see if we can top off with chocolate chips. And 1 cup of chocolate chips. Let's see if this works. It is like the perfect fit. Oh man, this is gonna make it so much easier for me. So now when I make these, it won't really make that much of a mess. I just dump these dry ingredients in a bowl, get my wet ingredients, and bake. That's so easy, and it's so much faster. That will save me a lot of time when I need to make something and I'm pressed for time, which is very common, especially if you have 3 kids or any kids for that matter. You're always running around doing all kinds of stuff. All right, so now I'm going to write down what we need to add. So we need 3/4 a cup of butter, 2 eggs, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, and 1 cup of sour cream. We're going to bake at 400 degrees for 5 minutes, and then 375 for 10 to 15 minutes. How cute! I'm ready to go. Now, while we still have our chocolate chips out, let's make some chocolate chip cookies. We're going to make 4 batches of those. We need 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1 1/2 cups of flour, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And I just realized that I forgot to grab that for my other jar, so we're going to add that in real quick too. The chocolate chip cookie mix was supposed to have the baking soda as well, so I am going to kind of try and tilt that in on the side there. One teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to add 1 cup of chocolate chips to each jar. That is so pretty. I might make these for Christmas gifts. These are really pretty. I think people would like these. Okay, so then we need to make our labels. Chocolate chip cookies. Okay, so we have these labels. And now we're gonna write our directions. All right, so 1/2 cup of butter, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, bake 350 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes. And that's it, nice and easy. Okay, so this one is not new to prepping for myself. I make homemade jiffy mix because we use this in casseroles and stuff. We are going to mix some more up because we only have one left. We need 2/3 a cup of flour. In each jar. A 1/2 cup of yellow cornmeal. 3 tablespoons of sugar. 1 tablespoon of baking powder. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So now all together I have 4, but we just made 3. We're gonna make some hot fudge mix. So we are going to add a cup of sugar to each jar, and we are gonna make 3 of these. And a 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. Get ready to see chocolate everywhere. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And we're gonna make, we're just gonna write on the tops. And I got these tops from the dollar store. It was like a 12-pack. And I don't wanna risk canning with them, but I use them for my dry ingredients. So anytime I have these jars, and if they're new, I would switch them out and not use a name brand lid with dry stuff. Save them for the canning. Okay, so real simple, 3 ingredients. And then when we want to make this, all we do is add these ingredients, 1 1/4 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of butter, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. You could also always add milk. I haven't made this yet, so I will kind of play with that and let you know how that works out. So high fructose corn syrup. And let's write our directions down. Now we're gonna make some mixes for the Sonoma classic baking powder biscuits. You can find the recipe available on their website. I wanna make it so that I don't have to pull everything out to make these. And we know that their mixes at the store are very expensive. So why not save money? 2 cups of flour. You know what? I think I will use different jars. So there we have 2 cups of flour in each jar. We're going to do 2 teaspoons of baking soda. No. A 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 1 teaspoon of salt. And that's all you need for your jar. Again, these are my dollar store lids because I don't want to use my good lids for pantry items. And I'm just going to write right on here, Sonoma biscuits. All right, let's write down our directions. So we're going to cut in a 1/2 cup of butter, spoon mix 2/3 a cup of milk, Bake at 450 degrees for 15 minutes. Super easy. Okay, so you're welcome. I just saved you like at least $60 on your Williams-Sonoma biscuits. Or, yeah, I saved you $60 on your biscuits there. Okay, so we're going to mix in here the dry ingredients for Williams-Sonoma's dark chocolate brownies. Now, I think this is the recipe for the one that they used to carry. It was like $20 like 10 years ago. So they stopped carrying this batch and it was so good. So I want to try and see if this will work, because if it does, this will be amazing because they were delicious. So in each container, we are going to add the dry ingredients first that it wants you to put in a bowl separately. So this one is going to have a little bit more directions, but it's so worth it. If it tastes as good as the ones they used to sell, the mix that they used to sell. Okay, half a teaspoon of baking soda and a half a teaspoon of salt. Then we're going to put in our chocolate chips. Now you can use regular semi-sweet chocolate chips. I'm going to go for the chunks. So if it's too much, then next time I will not. Okay, so that is what you're going to put in for this. Now, and I'm hoping this is all going to fit in here, but we'll see. We're going to add 1 cup of white sugar and 1 cup of brown sugar. Okay, so each one of these is about 1 ounce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're going to see how this comes out. Actually, might make... Yeah, I think it's going to make more sense to actually just do 2 separate jars for this. This one does not need to be a big jar. Okay, guys, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put the dry ingredients in here. I think. If I can get them in. Yep, that fits. Okay, so this is the dry mix ingredients for the dark chocolate brownies. In here, we're going to add in our sugars. Because these are actually going to get cooked on the stove. Okay, now that I have this, I can take these out. And we're just going to break these up. You need 6 ounces in each thing. This is all going to go on the stove to melt with butter. And then you would mix it in with the dry ingredients. All right, awesome. So they're going to get paired together. So I'm going to keep the color coding the same for these. And we're going to write on the top Williams Sonoma dark chocolate brownies, 1 of 2. So I know that, okay, this is the next one. Okay, chocolate brownies, 2 of 2. All right, so. Remember, these are not your ordinary brownies. These are special brownies. Number 1 will be the wet. So on stove, 3/4 cup of butter with chocolate. Okay, and then off the stove, you're gonna add sugars, 1/4 cup of light corn syrup. You can also substitute that with honey or maple syrup, and I think maple syrup would be really, really good. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Okay, and then for our dry ingredients, we're gonna stir in dry ingredients. Bake at 350 degrees for about 25 minutes. So there we go. These 2 jars would be used together, and it does make a large batch, so you would need a 9x13 pan. So if that's not something you would think about, then definitely write that down on your labels. Guys, check this out. Doesn't that look so good? We have all of these jars to add into our pantry for quick, easy, convenient, less expensive baking or cooking options. Yay!